Hello, good morning, good afternoon, good night, whatever time you're watching this. I just wanted to pop on really quickly um, and just get some encouragement. What I want everyone to understand is that uh, throughout this journey of restoration or standing for your marriage, sorry if it's a lot of noise, I'm actually uh, taking my little morning walk, but uh, throughout this journey, whether you're on the journey for restoration or whatever the case may be. Um, the first battle to be won, or the first fight that you have to fight, is the fight for you. You have to fight for yourself, for your mind, for your healing, for your salvation, for your deliverance. You have to fight for yourself. Most of the time, when we are going through what we're going through, sometimes it is because God is calling us closer to Him. Somewhere along the journey, we may have forgotten about God, or we may have slept off in our relationship with God. So I think that a lot of times God allows certain difficult situations to happen just so that we know and understand that He is always there. He is always present. He can get us through anything. Um, and I think that what we have to learn to do is to put all of our trust and all of our faith into God. Because the reality is that God will never put more on us than we can bear. He says it in His word. And if He's giving you a particular journey, it's because He trusts you with it. Sorry. He trusts you with the outcome. He knows what the outcome is. We may not know. We may not even believe that at the moment there is a positive on the horizon. And sometimes our positive isn't God's positive, which is why whenever I speak to anyone about this journey of restoration, my first thing that I always say is that you need to be sure and go to God in diligent and humbling prayer and ask Him what it is that He wants you to do. Ask Him for some type of confirmation that this is what He has set up for you, that this is what He wants from you. Because a lot of times we want our marriage because it's our marriage. Like, why wouldn't I? That's my husband. That's my wife. But in some instances, there may be a time where divorce is what's going to happen. And although it may be hurtful at the time, but if you continue to go to God in prayer and ask for your healing, the blow won't be as bad. That's what I'm thinking because I can't speak from experience. My husband and I are divorced. I'm believing in God that we will never get to that point. But I'm just saying that you have to fight for yourself. You have to go to God. Pray for your spouse. Don't stop praying for your spouse, but pray for you. Pray for you and your healing, your mind to be regulated and your heart to be transplanted and turned from a heart of stone to a heart of flesh. Because the first fight to win is a fight for yourself. And then once you want to fight for yourself and you are 100% in God, you are next to God, seated at the right hand of the Father, and you're good, then it's time to go to war for your spouse. But you can't fight for somebody else when you haven't won the fight for yourself. So fighting for yourself is very much the number one priority during this journey. You have to fight for your sanity, for your peace, for your healing in all aspects, because a lot of times we go through these journeys and we feel, well, God wants me to fight for my marriage, so that's what I'm going to do, which is probably very true in most cases, excuse me. But you also have to fight for you. You have to make sure that you are in line with what God wants. And that even during this journey of restoration, that you are acting the way that God would act. Sorry, it's a loud car. But you have to be sure that that's what you want. Well, that's what God wants, rather. Because a lot of times we'll be fighting for our marriage and we'll be, this is what I want, this is what God told me, but is it really what God said? Or, we act out in ways. And during this journey, you have to have a love of Christ. You have to still look at your spouse as someone that you love. Even though they've hurt you, they are currently hurting you, they've said or done some horrible things, you still have to show love because that is God's way. That is how God operates. He operates in love. That is His way, is love. The greatest thing is love. And love is patient, love is kind, love does not, what does it say? Hold no record of wrong. That is what God is. He's love. So once you've gotten to the point where you fought for yourself and you have all those fruits of the Spirit inside of you, and you are living a life of Christ, and you are living your fruits of the Spirit, you are living in diligence and in love, then you can begin to fight for your spouse. But you gotta fight for you first. You have to heal you first before you can heal anyone else. The healer has to be healed as well, and not saying that you can heal your husband or your wife on your own, no, because you're going to need God's help. But you can't assist in the healing process if you aren't healed, because there is going to be some things that are going to happen during the healing process that are going to hurt. Even once you're healed, there are going to be things that are going to hurt, but you're going to respond to those things in a completely different way than you did, prior to your healing. I mean, just yesterday, I was in such an awesome mood. I, did something by faith that I believe that God was instructing me to do, and it felt really awesome. I was in a really great mood. And then, I get home a few hours later. My husband and I still really talk pretty much every day like friends. We send each other back and forth. So we send each other funny, YouTube videos back and forth to watch that we would thank each other within the 20 or whatever. So he sent me a video. And I don't quite know if I don't go into a lot of details, but I don't know if he sent the right video or if he didn't think when he sent the video, but it was more of a trigger for me than funny. So it kind of got my mood down. But I just thought about it, like, you know what? That's just the devil. Like, I was just in a very awesome mood because I made a faith move for my marriage based off of something that God told me, and it put me in an awesome mood. And that was just the devil's way of trying to shake my faith, or trying to, put me back in the mindset of maybe this won't work. But I, went in my room, went in my closet, I prayed about it, I shook it off, and I just went on about my day. That's what I'm saying. Like, you had to know, if this was a few months ago, before the healing started, and before the peace was imparted, I probably would have called my husband back, like, why did you send me that? I probably would have called him back and went off. Like, you thought that was okay to send me, but I just left it alone. And I'm going to let God deal with it. And even now, in certain situations, I still get prompted to want to do things that really aren't in my character. And it's like I can't though. Like I want, like something's telling me, don't I know it's not God. It's like the enemy just nudging me, like, do this, do that, do this, do that. But I can't. And I don't want to, because once my marriage is restored, and once it gets to the point where my husband's home, which I can feel in my heart is coming, once it gets to that point, I don't want to say that anything happened because I did something. I want everything to be because I sat back and let God do Him. Like, that's what I want. I want it to be about my husband and God dealing with my husband, and in turn dealing with us in our marriage. I don't want it to be like, oh, yeah, well, he came back, or he felt bad because I sent this text message. No, I don't even want to do that. I don't even want to do any of that. I want it to solely be God did it. Suddenly, this happened. Or it was like out of nowhere, the supernatural, like it just happened. And that's when you know it's God. When you didn't put in any effort, you just sat back and let God do his work. That's what I'm saying, like fight for you first. And then everything else is gonna fall into place. Don't let anybody tell you you need to send your husband scriptures and pray, call him and pray for him. You need to, whenever you come across a little name about marriage, don't do that. Let God deal with his heart, because you can't. You can't deal with his heart, especially not right now. You got all spirits and demons and satanic attacks going on, and you can't fight those till you fight for yourself. You can't fight the demons till you fight yours off. Because then it's just going to be your demons fighting with his demons, instead of your spirit fighting with his spirit. Your spirit fighting for his. You got to deal with that the right way. And the right way is not to just start automatically going in. It's just not. That's not the way to do it. It's not the way to go about it. It's a better way. I promise you it's a better way. You got to fight for you. Fight for you and yourself. Go to God in prayer and diligent prayer and really ask him and seek him about what you want to do, what you should be doing. And God always gives signs. You have to figure out how God speaks to you, because God speaks to everyone in different ways. So you gotta just figure that out. Once you figure out how God speaks to you and moves through and in you, everything else will just fall into place. But you have to fight for you. I don't know how many times I've said it, how many times I'm going to say it, because it's so important and it's so vital that it's really to the point where nothing else is going to work or is going to manifest until you have fought for yourself. Like nothing. You gotta fight for you and get you right. Once you're right in your heart and in your mind and in your spirit, then you can begin to fight for your marriage and to fight for everything else, because you gotta be right with God first. You gotta be right and knowing that you're even moving in the right way. Like before every interaction with my husband, before he ever calls and say, "Hey, I'm getting ready to drop pass, I'm getting ready to drop pass to the kids," is that okay? Before he get there, I go pray. Father God, in the name of Jesus, he on the way. God, I ask you to guide my thoughts, my words, my actions, Lord God. Help me to stay in character. Help me to get through these next few hours or however long he's here. Thank you, Lord, for guiding my actions and my thoughts and my words, especially my words, oh God. Because your words are what ignites everything. And then your actions follow. Well, not so much, because sometimes actions speak louder. But you just got to ask God to guide all of those. During that time that you're going to spend in this presence of your spouse, ask God to guide your actions, your thoughts, and your words. And he'll do it. And like I said in my previous video, if there's something that you're trying to figure out that's going on with your spouse, that's not nagging them. That's not nagging yourself about it. Talk to God about it. Tell God, like, hey, my husband been acting really distant lately. He's been doing this, that, and the third. And I want to know what's going on, but I don't want to nag. I don't want to ask questions. I want to be here for him. Show me how to do that. And your husband or your spouse out of nowhere, they just start telling you stuff. Like, I'm sorry for being distant the last few days, or I'm sorry for how I was talking to you, but this, that, and the third was happening. I'm telling you, give it to God. Talk to God about everything. Sit in your closet, sit inside of your bed, sit on your couch, sit on your patio. Wherever you find peace at, if you have uninterrupted access to God, sit and talk to him. Talk to him like he is your friend, because he is. And everything that you start to talk to God about, he'll start revealing things to you. It won't be right away all the time, but he'll just start revealing things to you. And your spouse will just start telling you stuff. You'll be like, okay. Doors of communication being opened up. Stop nagging and talking to your spouse rather than talk to God about it. Because God is the ultimate healer. He's the ultimate way maker. He does the impossible. So talk to him and watch him work all of those things out. All of them. It's gonna be stuff you don't even realize you was praying for. Or stuff you didn't even realize you wanted to know that God gonna start showing you. It's gonna be stuff you're gonna be like, God, I didn't even know this is what I wanted. And God gonna be like, I know, but here you go. This just extra for your faithfulness. This just extra for your dedication. This just extra for listening to my voice. That's all you gotta do is be obedient. Be obedient. Fight for you. Fight for your mind and your health and your strength. Fight for that first. And then watch everything else just fall into place. It's gonna come. You just gotta be patient and give it to God, and He's gonna do it. He's gonna do the miraculous. He's going to heal your marriage, heal your mind, heal your heart. It's going to be things that's going to change in your marriage that you didn't even know was working before, and they're going to be 10 times better this time. You're going to be like, well, God, I didn't even realize that we was doing that all wrong, but now you're doing it right. And it's through Him, and He is the center of it. So you know it's right. You know it's right and it's holy because it's all God this time. It's not anything that you're doing. It's because you follow the word of God. You follow His voice and you did what He told you to do. You kept your faith and you stayed in obedience. And and that is the ultimate key. And I'm not going to get on here and say like I've done everything perfect because I haven't. I've made some mistakes. I've slipped up. I've did some things that I shouldn't have. Said some things I probably shouldn't have. But I've learned that in order for it to be right, I had to step back and fight for myself. I fought for myself. I'm still fighting for myself. I've won most of that fight because I'm a lot better in mind and in spirit. I fought for myself, and now the fight for my marriage and my husband and my family restoration began. Now it's all about my husband and my family, restoration of my family and my husband and my children having a father that comes forth me. That is what the ultimate goal is. Remember, fight for yourself.